Hello, everybody, and welcome on into another episode of Prop Culture. It is the end of September. We are all the way into October. We are into week 5. We're a quarter way through the NFL football season here. And ladies and gentlemen, it has already been a good one. I'm Thomas Viola. The stash is back. I see Zachary Reed there saying he's been waiting 7 days for the legendary stash to return. I appreciate it, my man. Russian 05 wondering if you know I have absolutely been blasting that T-Swift since midnight last night. But we are here to talk player props today, although I'm sure I will talk more about that Taylor Swift album. But I am here with the best stock photo living room in the business, Derek Carty. How is it going today, my friend?
I'm doing well. Coming off a good Thursday night football last night, a good week 4 last week. It's been going well, and hopefully we can keep it rolling into the weekend here.
Yeah, it has been. It's already been a great week. I didn't have any player props last night from using the numbers because I just slammed throughout the day. Didn't have time to really get anything in for Thursday night. I did have Jacob Tonjes 28-1 first touchdown scorer though, so I felt pretty good about that. We started the weekend off with a good one.
All right, nice.
Yeah, that was just an absurdly insane game last night. You went 2 for 2 on props that you had in it, and looking back on last week, we had another solid week for the show. We're up another 4.4 units. Last week 8-5 on the show plays. We're 27-23 on the season here, 8.8 units, a 16% ROI. We love to see it. It's been great so far, and we're going to keep it going today.
Yeah, always nice to get off to a good start. It takes a little bit of the pressure off. Season's always long. It's going to end up good, but it's nice when you kind of come out of the gate and it's good.
Yeah, it's good to get off to the hot start, add a little more to the bankroll, be building it up. And everybody here, Russian 05 saying what's up. Ethan Alpern, Derek Thomas, hope you guys are having a good week. We hope you are too. Evan Pelfrey reminding us, as always, it is Carty o'clock. SF9er in here saying what it do. And Zachary Reed is ready to have a good show. Guys, thank you so much for being with us as always. You know the drill. We will absolutely be answering all of your prop questions, so throw them in the chat as well. But first, we have our numbers to get to, and we have a bunch of plays. I was a little worried because we had a whole nice fat list at the start of the morning, and then there was a lot of movement, and we had to pare it down a little bit, but some other stuff opened up. We got a lot on the slate here, Derek.
Yeah, there was a lot of movement today on stuff that I liked this morning, but I think we still have about 10 props to go over, so still plenty of good stuff out there.
Bogler saying, how many blitz plays will I have already taken? I know that I had a bunch of them. There are a couple that I ended up staying off of, but we're going to talk plenty about that. I'm very, very excited to get into it. So why don't we hop to it, Derek? Our first one that we have up on the list here, we are going to be headed to James Cook, and we're going to be going to his carries market here. Talk us through what we are looking at here. What are we cooking up today?
Yeah, so we're looking at James Cook under carries. The market is kind of all over the place. This 18.5 at minus 140 at MGM is going to be our best line here. But the 16.5s around even money are very close when you look at the actual expected value of it. So really, it's fine no matter which lines you want to take. Cook is obviously having a phenomenal year. But there were some quotes out of Buffalo this week from Sean McDermott, I think it was. And this was from the Coach Speak Index Discord about how some beat writers were asking, why wasn't Ray Davis playing more? And he's kind of just like, well, it's just kind of the way it's worked out kind of thing. He's like, but I really need to get Ray Davis more work. This almost seems like a week where, especially if Buffalo is leading against New England, that they just get Ray Davis a little bit of work, and that cuts into Cook a little bit. At least that's kind of my read on the situation. We'll have to see. Either way, these are high numbers for any running back to hit. This is going to be a fairly slow-paced game, which will help us. So yeah, we're looking at the under here for Cook.
Yeah, Boglor already putting it out there. 2 carries in variety on this. I already bet at the 16.5 last night. Yeah, this one has been moving around. Bro KGB saying already at 17.5. It might just have been there before we even. Oh, MGM took it down instantly. There's definitely a mole in the chat here, I'm sure. But yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of variety on this one, and I think that goes to the uncertainty in this prop market. So if we're hitting it correctly, hopefully we're making money on it this weekend.
Yeah, and if that 18.5 is gone at MGM, or if it's off the board entirely, the 16.5s around even money are still definitely fine. I would have taken those as well.
Mm-hmm. All right, moving on here to our second one. This is one that I looked at taking when I made my pilgrimage to Arizona last night. I ended up staying away from it, but I'm intrigued on your thoughts here. Jaylen Waddle, we're looking at his receptions market, and we're looking at the under. I was a little surprised given the fact that he's the new wide receiver 1 down in Miami.
Yeah, I feel like everyone's kind of going to be looking at the over, and you can see the lines here. Like some books it's been moving up, some books it's been moving down. It's kind of been all over the place. What is our best? Oh wow, no, this has moved quite a bit since now. It's still fine. We're not going to call this one an official play. We had, I think, even money or minus 105 earlier.
Yeah, we had minus 105.
Yeah, it has moved quite a bit in the last half hour or so. So we'll scratch it. But the reason I do like this one, it's still a good play. It's just not like, elite, basically. The reason I like this one is because everyone is thinking about the over, and the market's clearly overall moving towards the under, which I think speaks volumes because, Tyreek Hill is out. Of course, Jaylen Waddle is going to get more work. But generally, when you have two kind of alpha guys like that, and one of them is injured and isn't playing for a week or a couple weeks or whatever it is, and you look at what happens to the other guy, they get more volume, but not like an insane amount more, like 3% more targets or so. And their efficiency goes down, which offsets it a little bit. So like it's a net positive overall, but it's not a massive net positive overall. And this is still what is a pretty bad Miami offense.
Yeah.
And this is the slowest paced game of the week by a lot. Like this game projects for so few plays compared to every other game, which just means, less volume means less chances for anybody to get over a number.
Yeah. And the other factor there is now with no Tyreek Hill, who, you want to talk about 1 week to 3 weeks, that Tyreek Hill might be done. He might never play again. But the other thing is defenses can now key in more on Jaylen Waddle. You don't have Hill on that other side taking away any of the attention. Bogler saying Waller getting 45 targets this week. Oh my God. Chat, if you follow along on Twitter, I'm a little pissed off about Darren Waller right now because last week, Monday night, I'm sitting here texting Derek and I go, hey, that Darren Waller receptions number, that's kind of popping a little bit. And he goes, yeah, but he might be on a snap count. And I just said, I don't know. Retired tight end comes out, injured all preseason, and 2 touchdowns versus the Jets sounds about right. And sure enough, I'm sitting there like
exactly what happened. Yeah, just the way you drew it up.
Yep. Really don't know why I didn't bet that.
I don't know what we were thinking. We really should have bet him for, I don't know what 2 touchdowns was paying, but it was probably a lot.
DraftKings was touting it at like 65-1. I think you could have gotten a way better number than that. I'm sure some people had. Yeah. Oh man, guess who took Waller 2 TDs? Bogler. I hope you did. Honestly, though, I think the gambling gods got me back with the Tonjes one, so I can't be that upset. By the way, Derek, want to zoom in just like just a little bit?
Oh yeah, good call
on your screen, just so that people.
For what it's worth, I'm thinking about it, and I think we can call this one official play, even at the minus 120. We lost points on it, but I still like it.
All right, everybody in the chat, and just remind me when we
really show value. Yeah.
Just remind me when the graphics is minus 105 that it's minus 120. Thank you, everybody. Right. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to move on to our next one here, and it is going to be sticking with this Miami team. We're going again to the under receptions market, and you talked about it. Slowest paced game of the week. Fewer plays, fewer opportunities, more options for unders here. We're going to the Achane receptions market. Another one that I feel like we bet a lot, and I always hate doing it because I'm always sitting there sweating it because he loves to get those dump off passes and those screens. But we're looking at under 4.5 receptions.
I've been trying to talk myself off of this one for a couple days because it's been out there for a couple days now. Like I love Achane this year for fantasy purposes. He's like on all my teams. The Blitz loves him. But this number is ridiculous. I mean, 4.5 receptions for a running back at huge plus money, plus 143 is our best line here. Like, running backs just aren't usually massive favorites to get 5 catches. They're just not. As good as Achane is, as much as he's involved in the pass game here, it's still a running back at plus 143 to not get 5 catches in a bad offense, in a slow-paced game. So as much as I hate doing it, it's too good to pass up, I think.
Yeah, I mean, by the time I get around to it here, I'm sure that number will be gone. So I will probably be passing on this one at the end. But if it sticks around, that's the other thing. If it sticks around, if at the end of the show I go back and I'm trying to hit this and it's still there, now I'm worried about market resistance.
Yeah, that's true. I don't think it'll be there, though. I think it's going to be moving.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I mean, how many times have we really had how many times have we not moved a number given this show here? DK's moving it down to 129 already. Bogler says he held his nose at this. Wild Turkey's got 5.5 at minus 160.
Yeah, you can see at the bottom here that there are some 5.5s out there. They don't project as well as the 4.5s at that big plus money, though. So that's why I prefer the 4.5. But obviously his chances of getting 6 receptions is even less than his chance of getting 5. It's just, you have to pay for it.
Let's see here, because we've got another good one here. Yahtzee saying, what up, Yahtzee? Good to see you again, man. Is it crazy to take Panthers money line? I mean, I don't think so.
I don't think the Dolphins are as bad as everyone thinks they are. I really don't. I mean, losing Tyreek is obviously not good. It looks like the Blitz actually sees a tiny bit of value on the Dolphins money line side. So, I mean, it's definitely not crazy. But I don't think the Dolphins are this bad.
Yeah, I mean, look at what we saw. Look at what we saw last night. Any of these teams can go out and beat any of these other teams. Yahtzee saying it's the battle of the short kings. Yes, it is. But I mean, I personally am inclined to agree with you. I had people asking me, you talk about some power rankings out there that had Miami listed as like the 8th best team in the league at the start of the season. And yeah, things have adjusted, but they have a lot of talent.
They have talent. Are they really like one of the absolute worst? I don't think so.
I'm inclined to think they are, simply by virtue of the talent that they actually have playing versus the talent on their roster. Like, going into the season pre-injuries, the defense looked okay. The offense has a ton of weapons. You could make something happen. Now I'm looking at it and I'm like, ooh, this is getting a little ugly out there. That being said, the Panthers have also looked just incredibly awful. Bogler says, I think this gives McDaniel a chance to open his diabolical trick bag without Tyreek and possibly save his job. I mean, I feel like you should have been opening that bag with Tyreek, because he is kind of sooner.
But yeah, we definitely could see some stuff this week.
Yeah. And Danny Diaz saying, as a diehard Miami Dolphins fan, I'd be shocked if Achane doesn't get 10 checkdowns. Again, I am still a little worried about that, but
this is very possible. I'm fully prepared for that to maybe be a thing. But I mean, is that really the mean expectation? I don't think so.
Yeah. Nick also saying, I think I like Brown's money line, and Yahtzee saying, as a Vikings fan, I fully endorse that play. I think my biggest concern, but first off, I'm very worried about Dillon Gabriel. I don't see this being a rookie sensation kind of game, but the Browns defense is actually pretty good. But the game's in London, and the Vikings have already been chilling in Europe all week because they played the Dublin game last week. That worries me more than anything with this Browns money line. Like, you've got one team that is going to be much more jet lagged here. That's my concern.
Yeah, it's very hard to quantify, but that does have to have some kind of impact.
Exactly. Like, this isn't one of those angles that doesn't actually mean anything. It's not one of those trend things that there is a pointable explanation here. Like you can point to this and say there is a clear effect here. What that effect is and how you quantify it is the difficult part.
Yeah.
All right. That's enough about the Dolphins, though. Let's move on to our next one. This is one that, I can see it in my mind's eye right now, Derek, that we're sitting on this one with 2 minutes left in the game, and Cade Otton's sitting at 2 receptions, and we're just praying he doesn't get a check down.
This one was just beyond tilting. Like, he's sitting at 2 receptions, and the very last throw of the game is a catch by Cade Otton. On like a 4th and long that they don't even convert. It's like, give me a break. But I'm going back to him this week. Plus 120 at DraftKings, under 2.5 is our best line here. You can see the blitz is projecting a little under 2.5. So we're looking at probably like a 55 or a 60% winner here. So if you can get it at any of the plus money numbers, I think you're in good shape. Cade Otton has not been used the same way in this Tampa Bay offense that he has in previous years. And they've come out and fully acknowledged it. Like, if you look, again, if you're in the Coach Speak Discord and you're reading all the quotes from all the coaches all the time, you'll see how they talk about how they have to use Otton differently this year because the injuries to the offensive line, because the injury to fellow tight end Kieft. So he's not being used as much in the pass game because they have to have him do other things. So, I mean, we're looking again at a play that the blitz considers to be like a 60% winner. Hopefully he either wins or doesn't break our hearts right at the end. And yeah, that's what we're looking at here for Otton.
Yeah. I mean, again, it is that heartbreaker that he can have for us, but hopefully we keep that usage down. And the other good thing is there's a lot of mouths to feed on this Tampa Bay offense, even without Bucky Irving in the lineup. Free Sean Tucker. Let's go. Let's make this the Sean Tucker breakout game. I don't know what the blitz says, but I will be laddering Sean Tucker props this week. I'm sure that won't bite me in the ass, just like Oronde Gadsden laddering props did last week.
Yeah, some of the Sean Tucker reception all overs, I think we're looking pretty good when I was looking this morning.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I might end up on some of those. And 50 Ruby here says, Derek, how many plus signs do you like to see on a play before you make it using EV? Usually you're looking at those 5 pluses.
For the show, I'm usually strictly 5+ plays, but that's because there are so many plays that you can choose from. If you have a subscription here and you look around, there are a lot of plays that the blitz shows value with. That really, I'm just trying to restrict it to like a small subset, the ones that I really just absolutely love for the shows. But from like a personal betting standpoint, like, you can bet 5s, 4s. I'd be fine betting 3s. I think the 2s and the 1s I'd be wary about unless there's a reason to really like it.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about Omarion Hampton. Finally, we're starting to get these rookie running backs to break out. Hampton has been doing very well. Granted, I mean, you lost Najee Harris, and now he is the guy. Oh my word, Boglor with 59 plays on this week's slate. That is a volume better right there, Boglor.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, there are a lot.
But yeah, let's talk about Omarion Hampton because we're looking at him in the receiving market. He's certainly getting the brunt of the carries, but he's not really the receiving back for the Chargers.
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure this Hard Rock line is off the board. I think the best line actually available now is this Caesars at -113. You can see the blitz is projecting about 3/4 of a reception under. This one's a little scary because, like, he's young, he's super talented. You know, he is being used in the pass game more now that Najee is out. There was actually just a quote about how much Justin Herbert likes to throw to him that I read like yesterday. But still, 4 catches for, I mean, we were kind of saying it with Achane where 5 is absurd, but 4 catches for a receiver is a lot. Very, very few receivers actually wind up averaging 4 receptions over the course of a full season. They'll do it occasionally on spike weeks or whatever, but in terms of like a mean expectation, 4 receptions for a running back is a lot. And it helps a little bit. They're facing a Washington defense that plays a lot of man, which tends to drive completion percentage, receptions down a little bit. So we will take the under on Hampton here. It's another one kind of like Achane where we're holding our nose, hoping he doesn't just smash because he's young and dynamic. But I think at this number, I'm good with it.
Brad is saying -134 at DK. Like, how low are you going on this?
you can go. I mean, you can see this minus 134 at DK right here is still a 5-star play. Like you can go down there, you can go down to minus 140, you can go down to minus 150, and you're still getting good value. So I don't have a problem doing that if that's the best option available to you.
You can get 15 cents down at Bet365 on minus 115. The score with the minus 180. They're not playing around.
No.
They're like, please take your action elsewhere on this. All right. Next up here, we're going to go to Ashton Jeanty. And this one we've changed up a little bit. I took it last night. I was noticing the numbers popping, but I took the receptions market, which we were originally going to do. That line has moved, but we're still looking at an edge in the receiving yards market here.
Yeah. So like you said, this is one where I was going to take the receptions. It moved this morning or, this afternoon rather before the show. But the receiving yards is still showing a little more value than the receptions are. So I'll go to it here. You can see the lines are kind of all over the board. So I do like it more at the higher end here. 19.5 minus 111 is going to be our best line here. You can still play these 16.5s as long as you're not, laying like the minus, the minus 130, the minus 140 is not ideal. They have talked about wanting to get Jeanty more involved in the pass game a little bit. So like this is one I wouldn't take down probably like minus 125, 16.5 would be my limit. But certainly if you can get in on one of these 19.5s, I like it a lot.
Tyler Jackson has a great question. How is the blitz treating Brock Bowers this week? I noticed
this is a good question. Yeah. And probably one that I didn't consider enough before putting this out as a play. I'm projecting Bowers in, but slightly restricted. He did not practice today. He did not practice yesterday. So if he is out, then this probably becomes significantly worse value.
Yeah. I had the same thing happen to me when I did not take it last night, but we will just have to hope because Jeanty really isn't a receiving back by any stretch of the term,
No.
Although they are just finally starting to get him going with the usage.
Yes, we'll have to see, but hopefully Bowers plays. That would make me feel a lot more confident.
Yeah, definitely. So keep an eye on that one. That might be one to hold off on for now. But let's talk about the great new rookie quarterback wonder here in Jackson Dart. We're going to be throwing out another. Oh, man. Bogler saying another week I bet Geno under half an INT. Another week I lose. Yeah. I'm a little. You know what? We're talking. Let's before we get to Jackson Dart, let's talk about Geno Smith here because the chat is popping off for Geno talk. What do you think of Geno Smith? My dad hates him, and I'm like, he's actually pretty good.
I've always been such a huge Geno fan. Like, I think he's good. I think he's an accurate passer. I think he gets a bad rap and is not. I think he's way better than people think he is. Like a well above average quarterback. Mm-hmm. Hasn't looked great this year. So I am a little concerned, but I still think the talent is there.
We love making the jokes with like Aaron Rodgers going to the Jets, following Brett Favre of the Packers quarterbacks go to the Jets. The Jets quarterbacks are going to Seattle and then they're getting good. I'm a Sam Darnold truther till the end of time, and I'm really happy to see him like showing up in Seattle. I also believe in Geno, and it pains me that I think Darnold is better than Geno, but I still think that Geno is one of those guys, like sometimes the decision-making isn't quite what you want it to be, but he's got a skill set that's really like he's got a good skill set.
Yeah, no, totally agree. I'm a Geno believer. But we're looking at Jackson Dart here. Go ahead.
Yes. Let's talk about Jackson Dart. We are looking at his pass attempts market here. I think I took some. I got to look back in my notebook here, my GRP notebook, and check what I took on Dart. But I feel like
all of his overs are projecting well. So you might have his completions, maybe you have his yards. I prefer doing the attempts or the completions to the yards. Mm-hmm. I kind of went back and forth on which one I wanted to do for the show, but landed on the attempts. Over 27.5 even money at MGM's our best line. But you can see this is showing 5-star value just about everywhere. So you can take this at anything that's on the board. It's been moving up already. A lot of this comes down to game environment. He's going into the Dome in New Orleans, which tends to promote passing, both in terms of volume and in terms of efficiency. And he's facing this New Orleans team that is so incredibly fast-paced. They just run a billion plays, and they're not very good. So they turn the ball back over pretty quickly usually too, which should mean a bunch of plays that the Giants can run this week. And that should hopefully mean enough volume for Dart to go over a very reasonable pass attempts number here.
Yeah. I quite like that as well. I don't actually have any Jackson Dart, amazingly, but I will say, because I saw Brooke KGB up here saying any love for Scatabo over 2.5 receptions. I did take that at plus.
I took that earlier in the week. I like that one. I don't know where it's at now. I think the lines have moved a bit since then, but I did take that. We can take a look real quick. Oh yeah, you're still getting good value on him. So if you can find FanDuel at 106 is the best number right now. So I'm definitely still on board for that.
Mm-hmm. All right, we've also got Dylan. We've got Dart plus 30 plus attempts at plus 160 and alt line at ESPN.
I like that angle because let me see what the blitz was projecting him for. I think it was like an absurd amount. So where's the attempts? 32.5. Yeah. So if you can get an over 30, I'd probably hope someone's got like a plus 200 out there. But even the 160, I think you're still going to be getting some good value on here.
Mm-hmm. All right. We also have to talk. Now we're going to talk about Jayden Daniels. And this is another one. Are you a little bit worried? Because we're talking about his rush market. Are you a little bit worried with the injury situation with him coming back?
I'm not. That's actually why this one made the list, because I'm not worried about his injury situation. So we're going to be looking at Jayden Warren, rather. No, Jayden Daniels. Jayden Daniels over 42.5 rushing yards, minus 114 at FanDuel is our best line on the board at the moment. He's coming off this injury. He's missed the last couple of weeks. I think that's why we're getting the line set as low as we are. But again, if you're in the Coach Speak Index Discord and you're listening to what the coaches are saying, let me see if I can find the exact quote, but it was something to the effect of, someone asked whether, they were going to tell Jayden Daniels to like hold back a little bit to protect himself coming off the injury. And Cliff Kingsbury basically said, like, I think that's really why we were overly cautious with him, because we didn't want to put him out there until he can be Jayden. And that's what he's going to be, and that's how he's going to play. So he's a guy who's averaged, I think, 53 yards per game over his career or something like that. So we're getting 10 yards short of that here. You can see the blitz is projecting, a good like 13 or 14 yard gap between the line and the projection. So I feel confident enough where I'll take this.
Some interesting alt lines here, 3-1 at 59 plus yards. That's tempting.
That's pretty interesting. Yeah, I don't mind that at all.
Yeah. And everybody else is popping with the plus 230. So Connor, if you've got 3-1, you're feeling, did he misread it? I don't know, but yeah, we got plus 230s going on. Wrong player. He's retracting it. Okay. But plus 230s. Plus
230 is still good though.
Yeah. Any thoughts on Jayden over 15.5 minus 120 for longest rush attempt?
That's one market I don't project.
Yeah, those are that's a variance market right there.
Yeah. Off the top of off the cuff, like I think it sounds pretty reasonable, but I don't have enough experience with the market to really be able to tell whether there's an edge there or not.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's at that point with any player, you're just banking on, like, especially a quarterback, you're banking at that point just on him getting one great scramble on a broken play.
Yeah.
And it's
that's
like
essentially it.
Yeah.
And he can certainly do that.
Yeah. He's totally one of the players that's capable of it. It's not like Matt Stafford, who's not going to run, but yeah, super tough to predict. I know Smalls on Twitter is always hitting these longest reception in markets like that.
Yeah, she loves the longest receptions.
Yeah. And Jason points out maybe not versus the Chargers defense. Yeah, I suppose that's where you would look at for these quarterback markets on that is just who plays rushing quarterbacks better, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Who's better at containing and how you do it from there. All right. Back at the top of the show. I forget who it was, and I'm not going to spend too much time looking for it, but somebody said I know we're going to have some Dylan Gabriel props here. We hit on it last week with Cam Ward at a nice like plus 160 price.
Yeah.
No touchdown passes. We're going Dylan Gabriel under 0.5 TD passes here.
Yep. And we are looking at plus 145 as our best odds. And man, I am pissed because it was like, what was the number I showed you this morning? It was like plus 200 or something. Like was that what it was? Yeah, we lost a lot of value on this, but it's still obviously showing good value. So we'll still take it here. Rookie quarterback going overseas for his first game, playing against a defense that plays a lot of zone, tries to keep the ball, kind of underneath. Rookie quarterbacks, I say it all the time, even elite ones, and Gabriel's not even necessarily an elite one. They tend to be their first year among the worst quarterbacks in the league on average. That's just how it works. Doesn't have a whole lot to work with here. Cleveland team that historically the coaching really likes to run the ball, and now they have a rookie quarterback and they have Judkins, who they seem to really like at running back. So I would expect this team to start going pretty run heavy, and Gabriel to have some struggles in his first exposure to the league.
At what point do coaches start seeing the trend of, hey, rookie quarterbacks tend to struggle in the NFL, and hey, the teams that are starting rookie quarterbacks are usually trash to begin with, so maybe we don't start our rookie quarterback and try and build a team first, Just a thought.
It's a good thought. You would think more teams would do that, and you see it happen sometimes, like a Jordan Love situation, and then Jordan Love is amazing.
Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, Mahomes. You're surprised you don't see it more often with these types.
Russian, I'm just here to talk more about Geno in general, and I'm just here for a Geno under interception play.
You're not getting it this week. Sorry, guys. But I would imagine it is showing value.
All right. Ethan Alperton, do you like anything on his pass attempts? I'm assuming we're not talking about Geno. We're talking about Dylan Gabriel here.
Gabriel, we can take a look.
By the way, while you're checking that out, I know Harold Fannin receptions was popping earlier. I feel like the market isn't quite catching up to his usage that yet.
Yeah, so we're looking at some minor value on Gabriel's over pass attempts. Not enough where I would be comfortable actually betting it, though.
Mm-hmm. Nick Porto also pointing out bad teams don't invest enough in the offensive line in the draft. I will counter with the Jets, who invest heavily and still are trash. Oh. 4
around Giants fans who have complained my entire life that their offensive line is terrible, and it does seem like they never really do anything to invest in it, and they're a bad team. So yeah, I'm on board with that narrative.
Yeah, I still remember Eric Flowers, man. You might as well just have 5 revolving doors at tackle. Russian saying, as a Finns fan, I did enjoy last Monday night. Yeah, I bet you did. All right, one more here. We aren't going Geno interceptions, but we're going Cooper Rush interceptions, and we're not going under.
No, we are looking at an over interception here, which have not worked out. I've taken, I think, a couple of them in the last week or so, Jake Browning and I forget who the other guy was. Haven't worked out, but small sample size. The value's still here. We're looking at Cooper Rush over half an interception at minus 129. At DK is our best odds on the board. It just comes down to being a math play, the same as kind of we talk about every week when we talk about these interception props. Cooper Rush projects to throw an interception 76% of the time. So, this is value. That's all it is.
Are we a little bit worried about, I mean, I don't really want to say worried because I know Derrick Henry under carries props were also hitting. So it feels like the blitz is looking at Cooper Rush passing a little bit more.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's a run-heavy team to begin with. You'd expect them to get more run-heavy with a backup quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess it does see him throwing enough or being bad enough to throw a pick here.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a combination of everything because the other thing that was popping was Zay Flowers overs, which was only at 45 yards. But yeah, but it does seem like the blitz.
So maybe it does see Baltimore throwing more than the market does. That's kind of interesting.
Mm-hmm. And we're saying 2+ interceptions per rush at 240 sprinkle time. DK's got 310. We got some 270s out there.
The 310, I'd definitely be interested in, I think. Yeah, 171 pass yards is low. One of the other things too that could be driving if the blitz is like on some of the Baltimore passing overs a little bit. They're a run heavy team, but they're also a run heavy team that's really good and is usually winning and can run even more than they want to because they're winning in a game that will be much closer without Lamar Jackson. What's the spread here? Like 2.5 or 3 points or something like that, if I remember right. They're not going to have that same run rate in a closer game than they would in a blowout game. So like their true pass rate is probably a little higher than you would otherwise think. So I'm guessing that has something to do with it.
Yeah. They're a 1.5 to 2 point underdog at this point. Looking at my GRP notebook, and that's 2 times mentioned, so can't say it again. Everything I've got for this game, I got Nick Chubb over 29.5 yards, which I believe is already up to 31-32. I got that Cooper Rush at 169. And then I had Justice Hill over 2.5 receptions, as well as that Zay Flowers over 45.5.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wow, look at Boglor in the chats.
Boglor's been killing it.
Yeah. That's actually a market that I haven't looked at much, but if it's that good, I think I need to start looking at it.
Yeah, and it's supported by the blitz, right?
Yeah, it is. EV Analytics doesn't have lines listed for every book. It only has lines for books that have two-way markets where you can bet the over or the under. I know they're in the process of adding one-way markets for touchdowns. I think probably by the end of this week or next week, they're hoping. So that'll be nice to get more lines up there. And then maybe I can start talking about them on the shows too.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, it's exactly like the home run market in MLB. Like you're getting a big plus number. It's an unlikely event to happen, but when you do hit, it's big, and you bet them in volume over the course of the year, and you can wind up being very profitable on them.
Yeah, it's all ProfitX and Novig. I mean, yeah, I have a buddy, and I know Cheeseburger Eddie knows him because we're in a group chat together, and he gives us primetime first touchdown bets every week. And I notice one of the things that absolutely does pop, as Bogler points out here, is it's mostly QBs that there's a lot of value on. Maybe not a lot of value, but there is some value on these quarterbacks rushing for the first touchdown.
I need to look into that then. That's good to know. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. All right. Hopefully we didn't just absolutely blow that up here for everybody. But
right.
Yeah. All right. And Ryan saying Jesse Shule is a ripper. Yeah, he is. Jesse's been red hot. You should check out plenty of his stuff over on Wager Talk and Picks and Parlays, the other YouTube channel. And Ryan saying he's over in Thailand. He is. And it is hilarious talking with him because he'll be like, oh, yeah, I'll get that done for you. And I'm like, wait a second. It's 3 a.m. over on your time. That man is a madman. Seth says loves Justin Fields anytime touchdown at plus 155. I know I took Fields over 8.5 rushing attempts.
Yeah, I saw that popping up. Let's see. What's the number? He got 155. Yeah, so it shows a little value at 140. The 155 probably has a little bit, probably I think 2 or 3 stars. So it's not bad.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like they're passing the ball.
No, they're really not.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But yeah, it's going to be interesting for the Jets there. I'm hoping to do that. Owen says grab that Fields TD at plus 175.
175 would definitely be nice. That'd be a good number. Josh has been really good with those touchdowns this year, as people were saying.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is what we have for our plays. We will recap those, but right now is the time. While I'm doing this recap, throw your plays, throw your questions into the chat because we will answer all of your prop questions here. But for now, just giving you the recap, we got James Cook under 18.5 carries, minus 140, your best odds at MGM. Jaylen Waddle under 5.5 receptions, minus 105, best odds at Hard Rock. Devon Achane under 4.5 receptions, plus 140 at FanDuel. Cade Otton under 2.5 receptions. Please don't break our heart this week. Cade plus 132 at DK. Omarion Hampton under 3.5 receptions, minus 116 at the 365. Ashton Jeanty, under 18.5 receiving yards, -111, best odds at 365. Which one of those was the one that I feel like we had one of them in there that I had to be corrected on. So chat, remind me. But we've also got Jackson Dart over 27.5 pass attempts, even money at MGM. Jayden Daniels over 42.5 rushing yards, -114 at FanDuel. Dylan Gabriel under half a touchdown pass, +145 at the Rivers. And Cooper Rush over 0.5 interceptions, -128 best odds at FanDuel. All right. That is our recap there. Derek, let's let the people sing. What do we have? We got Chad Martin. What up, Chad? Good to see you again, my friend. Browning passing overs are popping again this week. Are we crazy to try them again? He was absolutely terrible last week. How do we feel about it?
I've been really tempted to hit them, especially the attempts. Let's pull it up right here because it is showing good value. Yeah, you can see the over 32.5 here. 5-star down even to some of the 33.5s.
Mm-hmm.
He's Jake Browning. He's bad, but this is a Cincinnati offense that has shown a willingness to pass the ball with him. With Burrow, they're the most pass-heavy offense in football. Without Burrow, obviously they're not going to be passing as much. But if you look at I think it was 7 games that they were without Burrow that Browning started in 2023, they still were one of the more pass-heavy teams in the league over that span. The first game that Browning started this year, they went super run-heavy, and that had me worried a little bit. But last week, they went right back to being pass-heavy again, even once you account for them playing from behind in game script and everything else. They were still very much on the passing side of the ledger. So, yeah, I don't have a problem going back to this at all. It feels really gross, but I do think it's supported by how we should expect this team to play. My biggest concern here is just that Detroit wants to run the ball and they want to grind clock. They are so slow. So will there be enough time for Cincinnati to get to this number? That's been theoretically that's already accounted for in the projection, but that's kind of been my thought with this and why I've been a little hesitant to go back to it. But you can see the projection does like it.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough because it's the Dameon Pierce conundrum that we love to talk about of he should be better than this, especially given the talent that they have. And yet we're sitting here like, well, he ain't doing better than he ain't doing better than this. And it's tough to reconcile those two facts. Although shout out to Saquon Barkley unders, which are finally starting to hit for us.
Oh yeah. And Derrick Henry unders too. Last year, especially the first half of the year, they were rough, but I bet a few of them this year already, and they've worked out nicely. Yeah,
we were getting slaughtered on those guys last year, and it has been good. Jonathan Dubé asks, possible to get more books on EVA or more TD feeds? Your projections are good, but with only a few players on EVA being simulated, we can't line shop and get even better lines. I'll let you answer, but I will also say you can check out Odds Logic, and they've got some good player prop screens to give you extra books to help you get more lines to shop.
Yeah, absolutely. EVA is in the process of adding more touchdown feeds. I was kind of saying it before. Right now, they're only showing books that have 2 sides, but they are going to be adding lines from books that just offer the one side pretty soon, hopefully.
Yeah. Boglor had a question earlier. Sorry, I missed you there, man. I did see that one and wanted to get to it. Had a question about double dipping. If you see blitz showing value on attempts and completions, I've been taking both. Good idea, bad idea. I mean, you're increasing your variance, but I mean, you're playing a lot of the same. The edge you're betting is basically the same edge. So you are over leveraging yourself a little bit.
Right. A little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say that obviously you're increasing your variance, you're increasing your correlation. If you're only betting, 10, 5, 10, 20 props a week, you probably don't want to be double dipping like that. I know that Boglor said he already has 50, 59 props this week. So
yeah,
the bigger your sample size of bets, the more I think it's completely fine to bet both because it's going to even out over a bigger sample in the long run. But really it's kind of a personal choice. It's a matter of risk tolerance.
Exactly. Cheeseburger Eddie, rest in peace, our King Chuba Hubbard. As Yahtzee is saying, as Jonathan's saying, we do not have Chuba this week. McMillan overs in that trash secondary. I did just get the notification while we were on the show here that he is good to go this week. How are we feeling about Tet McMillan? And what's the motto saying? He grabbed 54 receiving yards over this week. He's been good so far this year, which is great because his team is terrible.
Yeah, it looks like the blitz is actually looking more at the unders here, which is what you'll see a lot of times for young players, for superstars, for guys who are hyped. The overs don't usually show value because people want to bet the overs. The unders tend to show more value because they're the grosser, uglier side, and you're being offered a better price to do it. So that's kind of, I think, what's happening here. Also, I mentioned earlier when we talked about the Miami guys, this game projects by far as the slowest paced of the week. So just total play volume, I'm expecting to be down this week, which makes taking an over in the game difficult.
Yeah, going to be very difficult there. Meanwhile, we got a couple guys here, Danny Diaz and Russian05 saying no analytics behind it. Danny just says AJ Brown over 4.5 receptions. And it's funny because that was almost the play that we had on the show here today.
It was. Yeah, the line moved a little too much for me to include it, but it still was showing value. So we can take a look and see. Oh, there are more than one Brown that plays in the NFL, isn't there? Mm-hmm. AJ Brown. All right. So yeah, I think earlier we had it at like even money or might have even been plus money. But if you can get it here, like it's still a 5-star play, a 4-star play. We have potentially a bit of a squeaky wheel is the word I'm trying to say. Squeaky wheel narrative going on with AJ Brown. He had the weird tweet thing earlier this week and, hasn't really been doing great so far. So I could easily see this as a week where they try to make AJ Brown happy and they set some stuff up for him, some easy stuff to get him some touches. 4.5 is a pretty low number for a guy who is an elite receiver and theoretically should have one of the highest target shares in football. It's a very run-heavy offense, but this is still, I think a pretty good bet.
Yeah, one that I probably wish that I had made for this week but AJ Brown is always a squeaky wheel. Remember when he was reading self-improvement books on the side? Like that old tweet, I forget who it was, but the wide receiver tweets, the enemy speaks kindly and carries a knife. Yes. Like AJ Brown is that wide receiver.
Oh, he's definitely that wide receiver.
Mm-hmm. Garrett Wilson says Nico Collins over 72.5 receiving yards minus 114. 72.5 rushing yards for him would be absurd. So yeah, receiving yards for Nico Collins here.
Yeah, I would take the under on the rushing for sure. The receiving, looks like the blitz kind of likes the under on that too. It's another one where it's a star player. People want to bet the overs, but the under is usually going to be the better value. They're going on the road. They're going outside the dome. So his baseline stats are going to be inflated a little bit by playing indoors. Not going to be the case here. Yeah, probably not enough where I'm looking to bet this, but I wouldn't bet the over on it either.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's see. We've got some other questions in. Thank you guys so much for throwing all your questions in. Like, we love, shout out to everyone in the chat. You guys are the real MVPs. We love hanging with you and talking with you guys every Friday. And I will actually, just to real quick plug it, be on the End Zone this weekend on Sunday here at Wager Talk. So be sure to tune in for that, because we can, if you guys all hop in the chat too, we're all going to be sweating all of these props together. So I'll be along for the ride with a whole bunch of the great guys that we have here at Wager Talk. Very excited for that, to chop it up with everybody. And let's see, what's the motto? Grabbed the receptions earlier in the week. I just don't want to skip anyone. There we go. Brooke KGB says, I know it's gross, but Tua over 1.5 rushing. I'm guessing this is rushing yards, and I actually do like this because he can run.
Yeah, it's got to be yards. I don't think the blitz is projecting 7 carries for him.
Yeah.
Projecting about 7 yards. So a little bit of value.
Mm-hmm.
It's not as much as you would think, seeing that the line is set at 1.5.
Yeah.
Because when you look at distributions of how quarterbacks actually get yards, like it's going to be rare that Tua is going to have, a 2-yard run. Like if he goes over this, he's going to go over it sometimes because he has a 5-yard run, a 7-yard run, a 10-yard run, something like that. And so when you account for that, the gap is really only like It looks like less than 2 yards as opposed to the 6 or whatever that it looks like originally. So not quite great, but it's okay if you want to hit it.
Yeah. Nick Porto saying he kind of likes Cincy plus 10.5. I mean, it could happen. I don't know, but we thought that the Rams were going to roll last night.
I didn't think the Rams were going to roll. The Blitz liked the value on San Francisco last night.
Oh, there you go. I'm putting words in your mouth. I know we is in the general public.
Public.
Yeah. I lost a little bit on a Rams teaser, but I will absolutely live with that. Bro KGB says, I know it's gross, but we already talked about that one. He put it in twice. Just when you're going to give up on a guy like Browning, he's going to have 45 passing attempts this week.
Yeah, he probably will.
Detroit,
honestly.
he probably is, just because they're going to have to.
They are going to have to pass. If he can be even just a little bit efficient and they're not giving the ball back to Detroit too much and just letting Detroit sit on it, then they're going to have to throw.
Yeah. How about some Ibuka and Devontae Smith? But especially, I'm seeing a couple more questions here for Ibuka TDs.
There is almost no chance that the Blitz is going to endorse an over on Ibuka, but we can check.
Yeah.
He is young. He is hyped. And
he's great from a fantasy team. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, no, if you have him, you're very happy.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit of value on the under, not enough to bet it. Definitely one I think I would just kind of stay away from.
Yeah. Let's see here. We've also got Danny Dimes over 17.5 rushing yards.
I know his rushing stuff
Indiana
was
Jones here.
I love the Indiana Jones nickname. Let me see. Oh, I always put his name in as Danny. It's not Daniel Jones. Wow. All right. There we go. Daniel Jones. So there's a little bit of value on his over rushing yards. Not major, but definitely there. The one thing that's strange to me so far is that I don't think Indy has called a single designed run for Daniel Jones outside of the red zone, which is odd and not great for the yardage market. Because even if he gets a couple of calls in the red zone, it's, not going to be as many yards, obviously, as it would be in the middle of the field. So it's just I'm a little hesitant on this one. I'm still projecting the Blitz is still projecting that Daniel Jones is going to start getting some of those calls outside of the red zone, but we haven't seen it yet. So I'm just a little worried.
Yeah, it's going to be definitely an interesting one to see because it is so scramble based and that is so hard to predict. Yahtzee pointing out the KOC QB rehabilitation school. I just want to point out Sam Darnold was once on the San Francisco 49ers roster. And while I do fully believe that Shanahan always wanted Mac Jones, I think if they keep Darnold, they already have this team has a Super Bowl ring right now. I'm just saying. Sam Darnold in that offense would have been just absolutely absurd. That is my belief. Rich O'Dude, what up, Rich? Good to see you. He wants to know about a Bo Nix touchdown this week.
I know last week that was showing some good value in the touchdown market. Let's see. Oh yeah, look at that.
Didn't we get it last week too?
No, I didn't bet it last week. I think he's talking about anytime touchdowns. I could be wrong, but definitely some good value there. It looks like.
Mm-hmm. All right. And Bogler says he did indeed score there. So there we go. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it looks like we have hit the end of our comments here. Everybody, thank you guys so much for being with us. Bo gonna tush push versus Philly. Russian says, hey, it could happen. Sam Darnold in this. Hey, this is a Sam Darnold truther show. We absolutely believe in our boy Sammy. He was as a Jets fan, I firmly believe he was the prince who was promised, and we never should have gotten rid of him. Anyway, that is going to do it for us on the show here today, everybody. Thank you so much for being with us. We greatly appreciate you. You know that we'll be back here as always next week to give you more props, to talk about this. And Rich O'Dude saying, I always stumble across the stream randomly. Yes, sir. Fridays at 3 p.m. Eastern is where it's always going to be. Be sure to tune in live, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell for notifications, and you won't miss a stream because you'll get notifications right to your phone saying, hey, we're live. Come join us. Come get some props. Seth says thank you, and thank you all in the chat for being with us. You know the drill. Like, subscribe, share, tell your friends. Be back here with us. You can follow us on Twitter. He's at Derek Carty. I'm at TV at Work, and we will be surely tweeting out plenty more about all of our plays for the week. And groaning, commiserating, and celebrating with all of you. Looking forward to being back here next week. Hopefully it's another winning one. But again, y'all are the real MVPs being here, bringing your questions, bringing your comments every week, keeping the chat lively, and making this a great show. We love seeing y'all in the chat, and we'll see you next episode. But in the meantime, let's cash some tickets. See you next week, everybody.